A lot of brands think that Google Ads is doing amazing when their ROAS is super high, but what I want to understand first is where is that ROAS actually coming from? If a big chunk of it's coming from people that have already heard of you before and are just coming back to Google to type in your branded terms, then Google might not be doing anywhere near as much of the heavy lifting as you think. We see this all the time when we look at accounts. We think they look healthy initially, revenue's coming in, ROAS obviously looks amazing, performance generally looks pretty good, right? But then when you look inside the search terms, you realize that a lot of that performance was propped up from people who already knew the brand that were just returning essentially. And this is where it starts to get misleading because you think that your campaigns are going off and finding you a ton of new customers with Shopping Performance Max campaigns, but it might be that they're just taking credit for people that already knew you existed and were just returning, right? And so in this video, what I want to do is show you three things. Number one is how to check whether your campaigns are picking up branded searches at all. Number two is why that can make your ROAS look a lot better than it actually is. And then number three is how to add brand exclusions properly so you can force Google to go off and find you a ton of new customers. So why does this even matter? Well, branded traffic can make your campaigns just look a lot more effective than they actually are. If someone's been searching for your brand name, they already know you exist, right? They might have seen you on Meta, they might have come through an email, they might have found you organically, they might have even bought something from you before or been recommended by a friend or something like that. But if Google picks up that final branded search and attributes that sale back to Performance Max and Shopping, it can look like the campaign did all of the work, right? It's not taking into account how they got here. And so this is where it starts to get messy because revenue from someone that's searching for your brand is very different from revenue from someone that's never heard of you before, right? Brand new customer. One's demand capture, one's new customer acquisition. And if you blend those two together, you can end up making the wrong decisions about your campaigns and your account. You know, my ROAS looks amazing, right? Let's just increase the budget, increase the spend, and let's start scaling up. But what you might not realize is that most of those attributed sales are coming from people who have already heard of you. And this is where you see brands run into the problem where they try and increase their budget, they try and increase their volume, and their CPA just absolutely skyrockets, their ROAS just nosedives, and the performance just falls off a cliff because you've run out of that pool of customers to remarket, to bring back the low-hanging fruit, essentially. So I'm going to show you an example here from a brand that we've just started working with called Masons of Yorkshire. They're a gin and vodka distiller. We took over the account from the 1st of June. So I'm going to show you the 1st of May onwards, so the month of May, essentially. And what we're trying to understand here, and the question we're trying to ask ourselves is this campaign actually doing a really good job of finding these new customers, which is what it was designed to do? Or is it just remarketing to existing audiences and going after the lowest hanging fruit, right? So that's what we were trying to understand. How many conversions have come from people that have already heard of us before? So the easiest way to do that, you can see we're in this campaign here. We're going to go to Insights and Reports, and we're going to go to Search Terms, right? So I just want to take this filter off for a second and just show you what we're looking at here. So this is a total search term report for the month of May. This is all of the searches that people made to find us, all of the searches that people made to find us and made a purchase. So if we filter by conversions and we just look at the ones that have got conversions, what we want to do is we want to be looking for any search that contains our branded terms, right? So for us, for Masons of Yorkshire, anything that contains Masons is considered branded terms. If someone knows about Masons, they know about us, they have likely purchased from us before. Maybe if they haven't purchased from us before, they've considered purchasing from us before. They're brand aware, right? So they're not technically unaware of who we are and what we do. So anything that relates to Masons needs to be isolated. So you can see here, just straight away, 40 purchases total. You know, we had almost 50%, if not maybe more, of the purchases for the month of May have come from people that already have heard of us before. People that are just coming back to shop with us again or shop with us for the first time, but they already knew who we were. That's a problem, right? Because it can make your campaigns look like they're doing a lot better of a job than they actually are of finding you brand new customers. So another way to check this, if you've got a really long search term report and tons of conversions, is just to isolate it with a specific search, right? So if you can use a drop down, we've just got it pre-selected here, but you want to go to search term contains, and then you want to type in your brand name, and then it will filter any of the searches that have your brand name included, right? So you can see here, we've obviously excluded a lot of these because we're using brand exclusions. But for the month of May, just before we made these changes, you can see here 16 purchases assigned to Masons Gin, which is just a variation, had 3 purchases, Masons of Yorkshire Gin, 2 purchases, Masons Gin Distillery, 1 purchase, and so on, right? And so this campaign was doing a very good job of remarketing to existing audiences and capturing the lowest hanging fruit, which was not what we were trying to achieve. achieve, right? We were trying to find as many new customers as possible. And this campaign was going after a lot of the middle of funnel, a lot of the bottom of funnel, a lot of customers that were already aware of us. And so it's not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just when you're trying to scale new customer acquisition and when you've got your campaign set up on max conversions, max conversion value, or a target ROAS bidding strategy, it will always go after the easiest conversion it can find, right? And a lot of the time, if you're not excluding brand, the easy conversions, the low friction conversions, they come from people that have already heard of you before, people that are just coming back to shop with you again. And so when you try and scale up, and this is a problem that you see a lot of the time, when brands try and scale up, they increase their budget, they think performance is great, and Google then has to go out and find brand new customers because it's exhausted its remarketing audience, because there's only so many people that have heard of the brand, right? It's finite. It struggles to do that. And that's when you see ROAS plummet, you see your cost per acquisition just skyrocket, and the performance just gets dreadful when you start to increase the spend and everything just breaks above a certain spend level. That is the reason why, for the most part, because your campaigns have never really had to go out and find non-branded traffic, non-branded conversions, people that are just looking for gin or just looking for gin gifts, like I say, and they're not typing in any brand related terms, essentially. So this is where brand exclusions are going to come in. Brand exclusions basically just tell Google, do not use this campaign to show people searching for my brand name. And that's super important to smart bidding. As I just mentioned, smart bidding will always look for the easiest conversions. So if you're on max conversion value, max conversions, or you've got a target ROAS on, for instance, Google is asking itself all the time, where can I find the easiest sales? Where can I find the highest intent? Where can I find the least friction? And a lot of the time that's going to come from people that have already heard of the brand. And so from Google's point of view, brand traffic is perfect, right? It's high intent, it's high conversion rate most of the time. You normally get a super strong ROAS on anything brand related, and it's an easy win. But from your point of view, that might not be what you're trying to achieve with this campaign. And that is a problem with brand traffic. As I mentioned, brand traffic is finite. There's only so many people searching for the brand every month. There's only so many warm users. There's only so many people sitting in that middle and bottom of the funnel. And that's when we tried to increase our budget, ROAS fell off a cliff. Right? It's a perfect example of a campaign that has spent the last handful of months just going after low-hanging fruit, and it no longer knows how to find you new customers at scale, and the ROAS was inflated right from the start, so you think performance is actually better than it is. So what I'm going to do now is show you the month of June, right? So we're in the month of June here. This is the month we took over the account from the 1st of June to the 30th of June. And we're going to go back to that same search term report, right? And what you want to be asking yourself is how many brand-related searches are coming up in this search term report. We added brand exclusions on the 1st, and you can see here, if we look at the search term report, you can see here that we'll filter by conversions, just done it there. None of these searches made for the month of June, the attributed purchases, have come from brand related terms, which is amazing, right? So this campaign, for the first time, is not only acquiring new customers, but it's acquiring new customers every single day profitably. And that's the bit that matters the most, right? Like when you remove your branded terms, you really start to clean up the data, and you start to understand if that campaign is still able to generate you sales without the branded related terms in there, and generate you a profitable ROAS without the branded related terms buried in there. And so instead of just harvesting existing demand, you're now going off and finding new pockets of demand that exists to help your business grow, basically. And this is why I always recommend checking if your brand related terms are sucking too many purchases out of your Performance Max or your shopping campaigns. If they are, it's definitely worthwhile added that brand exclusion to the campaign. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But essentially this campaign will now acquire new customers on a fairly regular basis, a profitable ROAS, right? You can see this particular search here, which came from Gin Hamper. So we had 4 conversions, 4 purchases with a 40% conversion rate and a cost per conversion of £3.66 on a completely cold search, right? So Gin Hamper, they don't know Masons, they don't know we exist, they've probably never heard of us before, they've definitely not shopped with us before, and we have attributed 4 brand new purchases for the month of June to that search. And so that's why excluding brand related searches is so important, because it allows your campaigns to go off and find new customers, and you begin to understand your actual ROAS without brand traffic in, without inflating the campaigns. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how to find this brand exclusion and how to make brand exclusions for yourself if you want to. So we're going to go back to this campaign. We're going to click on settings here, and then we're going to go down to other settings, and we're going to go on brand exclusions, right? It's quite easy to do. And then when you're in here, like we've obviously got our brand list selected, but you just want to create a new brand list, and then you just call it like branded terms or something, right? And then you just want to add your brand name and any variations of your brand name, and you just want to click save on that. And then you want to go back to the brand exclusions part here and then just click save on here. Make sure you click save, otherwise it might not have saved. And that's how you add brand exclusions, right? It's super easy. Essentially what you're telling Google is do not find us or do not make us pay for any searches that relate to our brand or our branded name or any variations of our branded terms, right? It's that simple, essentially. So what to expect after you exclude your brand. So be careful not to judge it too quickly, right? You want to remove your branded terms from your PMAX and shopping campaigns, and they're probably gonna look like they're performing worse to begin with, right? That makes total sense. You've removed some of the easiest converting traffic, you've removed all of the low-hanging fruit. So do not panic if the ROAS drops. Don't instantly reverse things just because your campaign no longer looks as impressive. To be completely honest with you, that inflated performance was just making things look like they're a whole much better than they were. And so by removing those branded terms, you now understand, okay, what is my benchmark ROAS on non-branded traffic, on new customer acquisition, which is really, really useful to know. And so then what I'd do is I'd give it a month, I'd give it maybe a couple of weeks, keep checking back in that search time report, making sure that there's no brand appearing, making sure that there's no misspellings appearing, and making sure like all variations of the brand are not showing anymore, and you're not paying for any of those clicks and attributing any sales back to brand related terms. And then look at non-brand performance as well. Obviously keep an eye on sales and stuff. Are you still getting sales from people who aren't searching for brand? Like, is your campaign picking up like a genuinely new pocket of demand? Are conversions still coming through without brand? So you might also start to notice that different products start doing really well for you. Like in your campaigns, you might start to notice that like a handful of different products that you thought weren't going to perform as well start doing better when you remove that branded traffic. And what you want to be, from a like wider business perspective, you just want to be looking at, if you're using Shopify, like new versus returning customers, making sure that revenue is moving in the right direction, making sure that you're happy with the numbers, because you want to be cross-referencing all the time, like on-platform performance versus actual Shopify performance, right? So comparing new customer acquisition is also really good. Like look at new versus returning customers, look at your analytics, make sure it makes sense from a business perspective and things are growing and moving in the right direction. But brand exclusions aren't going to magically fix your campaigns, right? They're not going to suddenly turn a campaign that's doing pretty badly into an amazing performing campaign. What they are going to do is just make that campaign data a lot cleaner, right? You're going to be able to separate your brand from non-branded branded traffic. You're going to be able to see how well this campaign does at acquiring just new customers, right? And whether new customer demand actually even exists for your product. And then you can begin scaling up, understanding that your benchmark ROAS is on new customer acquisition rather than a blend of both, which can inflate performance. So the takeaway here is pretty simple, right? If you're running shopping or Performance Max, or you're running Google Ads and you just want to check whether your branded terms are sitting inside your campaigns, go to search time reports, have a look at that campaign and filter by your brand name, right? Check how many conversions are coming from brand specifically. If there's a lot of conversions coming from people that have already searched for you before, then brand is doing a ton of the heavy lifting and you're not going off and finding as many new customers as you possibly could. And you could be eking better performance out of that campaign. So it doesn't necessarily mean the campaign's broken. You just want to separate out the data to be able to understand whether, you know, new customer acquisition and new customer demand is actually there for your business, essentially. So go to those search terms, check those search terms, exclude them if you want to in the settings, and you'll be able to see your campaigns acquire new customers on a regular basis, and you'll hopefully see your revenue push in the right direction and new customer acquisition go up. Now, if you are spending above 4,000 a month on Google Ads right now, and you want us to have a little look at your account to understand whether you are acquiring new customers profitably or whether there's a ton of brand leakage in there for you, we'll be happy to do this, as well as a completely free Google Ads audit for your business, helping you to understand how you could get better performance, so more revenue, a better ROAS, and a ton of new customers. And that'll be the first link in the description. And then the second link in the description will be for our newsletter. So if you're interested in tips and tutorials, case studies and breakdowns, all of that is featured in our newsletter, which we post on a weekly basis. It comes directly from myself. And so if you're interested in that, that'll be the second link in the description. But aside from that, my name is William Cameron, and I will see you in the next video.